Fortnite has a thing for secret areas, some with creepy unsolved mysteries, others with Easter eggs, but the story behind this house is one I'll never forget. Numerous cameras were watching from every angle. I mean, something was just off about it, especially when you went inside to see a lonely chest that seemed a little too good to be true. So naturally you're gonna open it, but Fortnite knew you would do this, and of course, you fell for the troll. One of the craziest hidden rooms to ever exist wasn't even on the map. In Chapter 2, they added a location that could only be accessed on Spawn Island. You had to enter a building and force your way down the elevator to find secret ghost and shadow facilities. Not only was this hard to find, but you only had a small amount of time to check it out before the bus left. My favorite secret rooms are the ones that reward you for finding them, and Shuffled Shrines absolutely nails this. It started off as a regular puzzle where you'd have to outrun a boulder and discover loot, but no one told us about the extra room that could only be found by emoting. Yeah, once you dance, it would reward you with an exclusive Indiana Jones emote. But if we're talking about one of the first ever hidden rooms in Battle Royale, let's take it back to Pleasant Park. It's a classic POI, and no one expected this boring house to hold such a cool secret. There's a small hole under the stairs, and if you followed it and broke this wall, it would reveal a huge emergency bunker with CCTV cameras, lab equipment, and a ton of loot. But one of the most unexplained POIs we've seen appear during Fortnite Mares last year. Over at Grim Gables, people were distracted by the Inquisitor boss and the grandfather clock, which we all hope was teasing Stranger Things. It was only a theory, but a couple weeks later, players realized there was another hidden room that made things even weirder. They first saw it in replay mode and learned that you could break through the wall to discover a completely upside down living room. It only had a carpet, some chairs, and a TV with candles on it, and still to this day, no one knows why. But the most underrated POI of Chapter 2 was the Shadow Safe House. Well, it started off that way, but over time, Fortnite kept changing it to become its own radio station with a recording studio downstairs. Eventually, the gnomes took control and began making music, which was pretty strange, but nothing compares to the final update, which confused everyone. Out of nowhere, the POI was changed again with more stairs that could lead you further down. Break a few walls and you would find a storage room. Kinda cool, I guess, until you walked up to the bookcase and opened it, revealing this. I don't know what kind of files are in the cabinet, but they must have been important. It makes you wonder, what actually is the first secret room in Battle Royale? Well, it all revolves around this tunnel from Chapter 1. I totally forgot about this place, but man, it brings back memories. Anyway, if you dare to stick around in this dark tunnel, you can break one of the walls and discover a hidden area. Add 2 chests and an ammo box, which is a fitting reward for anyone who found it. But I personally love this secret from Weeping Woods in Chapter 2. Epic loves to put hints in trailers, and for the spy season, they showed Agent Peely dressing up behind a bookshelf. This was under the agency, but it was a clue telling us to check the bookcases around the map. In Weeping Woods, this let us find an underground facility that was revealed as the Teddy Bear headquarters. They were hosting a meeting, probably discussing what to do with the gnome prisoner around the corner. The fact that thousands of people walk past us not knowing the bookcase could open is insane. But sadly, Deadpool wasn't in there holding tuxedos, but you could find a hideout that belonged to him. This area was only able to be found in the lobby. You had to click on a vent and it would lead you to his bathroom. If you went even further and found his PC, they'd let you play a mini game on it where you had to go skiing with evil Peelys chasing you. But one of the creepiest locations on this list was inside a mysterious house in the forest. For such a normal POI, you wouldn't expect to break a wall and find this. But there are no thoughts behind this bear's eyes. For something so simple, it's pretty unsettling. Even years later, we're no closer to figuring out why this existed. Not every basement is terrifying though. Fortnite once secretly added a replica of a TV show onto the map. Last season, they celebrated the release of Eren Yeager with his family basement. You can find this in Anvil Square, and it was full of references to the anime, from Grisha's desk to the infamous Notebook. Only veteran players will know about this area from Season 9. A huge mansion was added in the middle of the desert, replacing an abandoned building. There were so many rooms in here, and if you went into the basement, you would find a hole in the ground with 3 chests inside. It seems a little random, but fans of John Wick will know exactly what this is referencing. Now, there's obviously a lot of gnome Easter eggs in this game, but no one really remembers the room at Hydro 16. It went under the radar for a ton of players and was discovered when breaking this wall next to the staircase. Inside, there was a gnome being flushed down a golden toilet, and whether this is some kind of ritual or they really wanted to get rid of this guy, we'll never know. Some people think it was a reference to Midas, but we haven't seen him for years, unlike his crew. Turns out in Chapter 3, the vents of Covert Cavern were full of secret areas. If you follow one route, it would lead you to a tiny room with darts, a planning board, and a beanbag. This could only belong to one person, Sky, and if you kept traveling through the vent system, you'd also find her gaming setup with a PC and a mini fridge. Speaking of tech, there was a random update in the middle of Chapter 1 which affected this house in Retail Row. For some reason, now a satellite could be seen outside the garage, hinting at something more. car. If you were curious and walked inside, you could look underneath the car and see a hole. Immediately, there's a CCTV camera on this door, so clearly someone doesn't want you here, and upon entering, you can see why. This is basically another house full of equipment, exercise machines, and storage. But my favorite detail is a stack of dog houses in the corner. Every time a player broke them outside for loot, this guy had to come out of the basement and replace it with a new one. You gotta love when Fortnite breaks the fourth wall, which reminds me of the Steamy Stacks bunker in Chapter 2. This was a total misdirection. People found a secret staircase that led to an empty room, and sometimes there'd be a chest, and that was it. Or so we thought. If you destroyed yet another wall, music would begin to play. This is the algorithm from Tenet. At the end of the movie, they hide the pieces of it across the world, and one of them found its way to Fortnite. Another movie Easter egg could be found during the Marvel season. For months, the starter island was the MCU helicarrier, and this is full of details like Nick Fury's eye patch. But the strangest was this locked vault in the bridge. It's a starter island, so obviously you couldn't find a key card for it, and people tried to bring them over from the main map only for it to stay locked. It was the biggest mystery of the season until one day players figured out how to break inside. They drove a boat all the way up here and used a glitch to teleport through the wall, only for the vault to be completely empty. From confusing everyone to being humiliated, Fortnite once added a room that backfired. They spent weeks planning this, adding a cave entrance that was blocked by a huge rock. Our challenge was to team up and destroy it to reveal the cave, and with 5 trillion HP, we had our work cut out for us. Well, that's until someone used a cow catcher, which annihilated the rock within seconds, revealing the lonely henchman trapped inside. A few seasons earlier, we had Stark Industries on the map, and one of the most underrated parts was Iron Man's house by the lake. Yeah, that one. Fortnite went even further with this by adding a secret underground complex with all of Tony Stark's gear, even the Iron Man suit. Kinda reminds me of Lazy Lake's Anomaly Basement. This was a room that seemed innocent, but had a secret challenge that would give you loot. At the middle table, you could activate jewels in a certain order, and a rift would appear. You'd use this to unlock an edit style for Agent Jones, but it was also full of details that belonged to Midas. The best part, this basement was connected to a similar one across the way, allowing you to use this as an underground passage between the two. Something else you might not remember was in the snowy island in Chapter 1. Just off the coast, there was an ice block which had 5 billion health. As usual, we worked together as a community to break this, no cow catchers needed. People theorized what could be under here, another frozen monster, some loot, maybe a mythic, only for the health to reach 0 and disappoint everyone.
Hold on. Is it just a bunker?
We were also confused in the spy season when we could hear other players running beneath us. There was seemingly no way to get underground, but the answer was simple. Certain dumpsters or porta potties around Pleasant Park led you to this hidden safe house. There's a great way to escape any sweats in the area, and if you looked on the map, you could see you were directly under the soccer field. But 4 weeks later, this area was updated, and the entire field opened up to reveal a Choppa helipad. An even cooler safe house was on the other side of the island near Steamy Stacks. If you entered a porta potty next to a bus stop, it would take you straight to the beta complex that was massive. The only way to enter was through teleporting, so you could easily camp here and shoot people who came in. Another place with tons of loot appeared during the corruption season. A bunch of map changes came with this update, so it was easy to miss a bright yellow container at Weeping Woods. It took people a couple days to realize you could go inside of it, and it would lead you to a bunker with all the loot you would need. Those were a bunch of secret rooms in Fortnite. I'm sorry if I sound a little weird, I'm kinda sick right now, but it's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.